As we saw at the very top of tonight's broadcast, there are Democratic members of Congress who twist themselves up in knots over how to approach Donald Trump and the potential impeachment and whether they support it. Our next guest, though, has no doubts. Acclaimed filmmaker, actor, and political activist Rob Reiner is in the impeachment column. Good evening to you, sir. And I want to show our viewers you are directing this new video, which features Robert De Niro and former federal prosecutors arguing the Mueller report shows Donald Trump obstructed justice.
Recently, over 1,000 former federal prosecutors who served under both Republican and Democratic presidents have united to sign a statement to help Americans understand what's actually in the Mueller report. Their conclusion should trouble us all.
If you or I did what President Trump did, we'd be facing prison.
And no one, not even the president, should be above the law.
In the words of the Mueller report, no person is above the law.
Nice to see you, Rob.
Nice to see you, Ari. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, there are people who say you're a good storyteller.
Some people, other people say I stink.
And you've decided to use your firepower here to tell a story. Anyone watching that recognizes some of the faces. Others are there for their expertise and their knowledge, but are not as famous as De Niro. What story are you telling here?
Well, it's been very frustrating for those of us who are following this story from the time that we heard about the Russians intruding into the election until now and are into the weeds on this. We got to have a picture of what actually happened. And it's all summed up there in the Mueller report. Unfortunately, most people don't know what's in the Mueller report, haven't read it, and are really not following it. So what I'm trying to do is get the information out to the American public, so once they hear it, they'll have a better picture of what actually happened. Yesterday, for instance, you had Bob Mueller go on television for 8 minutes, and for the next 2 days, all that you hear talked about on cable news is that 8 minutes, because it's very powerful to see something on television actually tell the story. And that's what I want to do. And that's what Congress needs to do at this point. They need to get people in front of the camera, on television, under oath, to tell the truth. And once that happens, you're going to see a big change in how people view what should happen to this president.
Well, and as you say, the whole reason that trials are important is they don't work off the paper evidence. The paper's there. They work hard on it. But the trial, the evidence, what the jury sees is the people in the room. And you can confront your accuser, you can hear everyone talk, and you make a judgment. So your video here, of course, is tapping someone who has been personified comedically as Bob Mueller. Let's take a quick look at De Niro as Mueller.
On the charge of obstruction of justice, we have not drawn a definitive conclusion.
But I have, and my conclusion is Trump's clean as a whistle.
Free at last, free at last. In conclusion, it is my hope that this report will be made public with a few redactions.
Hella redactions.
We're going to black out everything except the words no and collusion.
Why'd you think to tap De Niro in this project? Do you think people look at him a little differently, having watched him play Mueller? And what kind of rate did he charge you here for an activist video as opposed to a movie?
Well, he charged 0, which is the going rate for doing these kinds of things. No, the reason I chose him is because I'm trying to draw attention. I mean, Bob Mueller going on television yesterday, that got everybody's attention. And what I'm trying to do is draw attention to what is actually in the report. We have over 1,000 federal prosecutors, both serving Republican and Democratic presidents, who basically say, with what they've seen in the Mueller report, President Trump would have been indicted and he would be facing jail time. That's, that's not a small thing. I mean, we have a president who has committed crimes. He's already been indicted, an unindicted co-conspirator in the Southern District of New York for conspiracy to cover up payments to a porn star.
Beneficiary. He wasn't technically unindicted co-conspirator.
Yeah, unindicted co-conspirator. But the point is, Mueller said very clearly he couldn't indict a sitting president, but yet he laid out unequivocally crimes that this president
Right.
committed. And we need to make sure the public understands that.
Well, it's interesting, and because the probe is closed, we are in the communications battle period of it, and you're someone who's clearly communicating. Rob, thanks for telling us about your project tonight. Love to have you back on the beat soon. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.